All right, all right. Today we are talking about fear and how fear is a choice, and you get to decide if you are going to listen to it or not. And so I want you to look at it in this perspective. When you have an experience or you have a problem in your life that really brings the shiz up, really brings stuff up, that is that experience, that problem, that person shining a light on where you are not free. And this is the same thing with fear. So hear me out. When we are not taking action in our business the way that we want to take action, the way that we know that we need to get our business to grow, then there is probably a sneaky little fear in there somewhere. And we need to dive in and really think about the thoughts that we are thinking and start to shift some of those. There are a few ways that you can shift it. I like to incorporate all of these into my Mom Biz Mastery program, but one of them is you just reframe a limiting belief. So a lot of times we have this fear, like, what if I fail? And then when we are thinking, what if I fail, right? Your brain is definitely going to answer that for you, and it's going to bring up all the proof as to what's going to happen if you fail. You're going to lose your house. You're not going to be able to pay your bills. You're going to starve. Like, our brains are designed for survival. And so if you really think about that, what is it really trying to keep you safe from? Nothing. It's just unfamiliar. Familiar is safe whether it serves you or not. So if you find yourself in your business constantly struggling to make money, constantly struggling to increase your income, we need to dive into those fears and what thoughts your brain is bringing up so that we can reframe those. And then the second way that I help you get past a lot of your fears in my Mom Biz Mastery is breathwork infused rhythms. And what these are is I have a breathwork audio, and if you're in the program, we actually do a weekly group coaching call, and I will facilitate breath work during that call just for 5 to 10 minutes. But breath work is a really good way. I don't know if you've ever tried meditation. I personally don't love meditation. I feel like I really struggle to get quiet with myself. And I really have a hard time pushing thoughts out of my mind and quieting my mind. And so breath work is another form of meditation, but you have a breath pattern to focus on, and it lets you tap into parts of you that you don't think about, recognize, or communicate with when you are active and conscious throughout the day, doing stuff. Like, breathwork allows you to tap into the subconscious mind and start to find some of these things that are holding you back in your life or in your business. And then the next way that I help you kind of reshift some of these fears is just through mindset work and thought management. A lot of times we are more afraid of the discomfort that we're going to have to experience to build our business, to put ourselves out there. What if we succeed? Then when you start succeeding, now the next fear kicks in that's like, well, what if I can't sustain this? And there's all of these things that come up. And so we want to be able to expand your capacity to hold space for these big emotions that are going to come up, to find safety within yourself, which is also what breath work does, and to be able to just replace that fear with a more empowering thought, even if we need to take it from one of negativity to one of more neutrality. So for example, let's just say that you have this goal of I want to make $100,000 next month. Your brain is going to be like, yeah, right. Show me how. That's impossible. You've never done that before. And it's going to start to bring all these things up. But what if we just start from a place of I know how to make money, and we stop there. I know how to make money. Or you can jump to a smaller amount. Let's say you've been making $500 a month and it's starting to feel really good. Maybe you're getting into a rhythm and you're like, okay, I want to make $1,000 next month. Like, you want to start to shift out of those fears, but you don't want to shift it into like this complete opposite that's going to be completely unbelievable to your own brain. And so by doing this with each little fear that creeps in, now you start expanding your capacity. Now you pair that with breath work and then infuse a rhythm with that. It is pure magic because now you are shifting the energy inside your body. You are releasing the stories you're telling yourself. You are releasing those negative thoughts. You're also going to be able to find some of those thoughts. If you're like, no, I feel like I'm a pretty positive person. I have had so many breathers that during a session, I had one, for example, through my practicum actually. He came in and he was like, I'm procrastinating in my business. I don't know why. I will sit down to do the work and then I'm like, oh, I'm hungry, and I'll get up and make some food, and then I'll sit back down and be like, oh, I'm thirsty. And he's like, I was just going through this cycle and I know I'm procrastinating and I just don't know why. And he had so many thoughts about it come to him during his breathwork sessions that he has now been able to shift out of that. He has now gone back to making the money. He was in this space of so much fear because he's like, I need to make money to pay my bills. Now he is paying his bills. The clients are flowing into him again, and it feels really good. Breathwork infused rhythms are magical, especially for shifting the energy within your body. Because fear, maybe you've had a past experience in your business, and or maybe you've even seen a parent have a poor experience in the past in their business, or maybe a parent trying to build a business and it never worked. Your body will actually store that energy. And so we want to be able to release that so that you can get out of your own way. And that is what breathwork helps you with. This is why I am so passionate about it. When I jumped into the program, I was a little nervous because I was like, this is a little too high on my woo scale, but it's science backed. So I think I can jump in and it'll be okay. And I jumped in. And when I looked back 3 months into the program, they had us kind of reflect on where we were and where we are now. It was magical. Like, I did not even recognize the 3 month prior me. And that was back in January. And I have continued the practice and it does amazing things. So I just want you to really start thinking about all those sneaky ways that fear might be creeping in. What actions are you taking every day? Are you taking the actions that you know you need to? Or are you kind of bouncing around, going and getting your food, sitting back down, realizing you forgot something else? I want you to really think about those sneaky ways that fear might be popping up and how you want to remedy that. So, if you want help with this, I would love to invite you to get on the wait list for Mom Biz Mastery. It will be opening back up again toward the end of September. And that would be the perfect time to start getting back into the business with school starting and all of that. And I do want to tell you, with like school starting, the topic of fear, because this is a really funny story that my little girl had told me, and she says it every single year. So she is now going into second grade, and it's always like the week before school. She's like, Mom, I'm really scared. And I always remind her to like look back at past experiences. And so I'm like, do you remember when you were really scared to go into first grade? And then you got into your classroom and you made a whole bunch of friends and you loved your teacher and you had like one of the best years. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, the same thing is going to happen this year. You're going to go to school, you're going to make new friends, maybe you'll have some old friends in your class, and you'll have a fun time with your teacher. And there was another time, so let's fast forward, and I was telling her I was scared to do something, and she was like, Mom, you remember that one time I was really scared to go to first grade and you told me? And she like goes off, and I am like, oh my gosh. Like my kid teaching me my own lesson. It was amazing. And they're little sponges. Like they pick up on so much. And so if fear is a choice, I just want you to decide now, are you going to listen or not? And if you decide to build this business to make your dream life happen, what is that payoff going to be? What is that going to look like for you? And then I also want you to think of, what will the consequence be if you don't go for it, if you let fear stand in your way? And I want you to journal on those two things today. What can your life look like, and really live in possibility? And then what if I don't go after this? What will my life look like? And I will talk to you next time.